everyone. This is Apollo with hashtag Occupy Media. I wanted to do a follow-up broadcast as it relates to We Choose Freedom March. The We Choose Freedom March, which took place yesterday, Thursday, kicking off from here at Stonewall. I just wanted to remind everyone that the Thursday action, which takes place here every Thursday, and it's been taking place for about 5 months now, every single Thursday. Queen Jean and others hold the rally, speak out, and then do a march to highlight issues related to the trans community, to Black Lives Matter, to oppression, to the election. What I'm doing the follow-up to today has to do with a number of news broadcasts that I've been seeing come over the media this morning regarding yesterday's march or last night's march, as well as Wednesday's march, which is a lot more complicated to go into because there are so many layers to that. But as it relates to last night, the news outlets are saying there were hundreds of protesters out in the street. Basically, there were about 100, at its max, maybe about 120, 130 people that were out here. You had an NYPD presence out here that basically lined down this street with vans, a total of about 80 to 120 NYPD bicycle officers in their black garb out here, stationed here and on each of the corners within this area. In total, I'd say there was probably an estimate of about 400, 500 officers, including equipment, 2 and at one point 3 helicopters for the march. And I just want to highlight this fact that it's been happening every Thursday without serious incident. And one thing I want to point out is, as people were gathering right over there in front of Stonewall, which they do every Thursday for the last 5 months, as soon as they started to speak out, about 45 bicycle cops immediately rushed towards the street, as well as officers from this side, while they were doing a speak out as soon as they were starting. It wasn't until after the bike crews were actually protecting those people that the police backed off. Now, the reason I'm stating that is they were immediately looking, from my perspective on the ground, NYPD was immediately looking for any excuse to move in to the crowd to escalate the situation. Now, there are many perspectives and points of views on, why they utilize whatever tactics they utilize, but it's an aggressive tactic that automatically puts people on the defensive. And this is one of most likely 3 live streams I'm going to do today related to that. And then later I'm going to put out a full broadcast, including some clips from last night, just so that you guys get an overall view. And I just want you to keep in mind that this is only from my perspective. I can only see it from one vantage point. But I know for a fact that as soon as the march kicked off, like it does every single Thursday for the past 5 months, immediately a massive wall of cops on both sides of the march, in back, up front. And the serious issue of the bike cops actually going into the marchers as they're marching, so that there isn't enough room for the bike cops and the marchers when they're going down streets, which they actually headed down this street. But when that happens, it creates a tense situation because the bike cops are actually running into the marchers, and then the bike cops get pissed off because people end up bumping into them. Well, if they didn't go into the march itself, then the tension wouldn't start. So that being said, I'm just letting you know I'm going to do a full broadcast later on. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. And, you know, I'll be seeing you later today. I'm also going to be doing a quick broadcast from over at Union Square as well, just regarding the situation that happened over there. But later I'll be able to give you a full overall view of what happened. Again, I'm doing this, which I normally don't do, in response to what I'm hearing news outlets saying this morning, as well as the press conference yesterday, where you had the new head of I believe it is the patrols officers, the woman who's in that position now has been on the force for 15 years, who stated she never heard of the word kettling before, which if she's been on the force for 15 years, there's no way she could not have heard of that word, period. That being said, I'll be back up later just to give you guys a heads up.